So I've seen a lot of random quick start guides, and I noticed they break a lot of quests. So I thought I'd make this to avoid breaking quests. It takes a little bit longer. It tends to give you way more stuff in the end. This works with any of the starting classes. I'll explain most of the decisions I make as I make them. No idea who this is actually for, but it takes like 30 minutes and you get plenty of stuff. Technically in the speed run you'd quit out and start back in because they use in-game time, but this isn't a speed run, this is real time. Now we are going to take a little note from the speed run here. And once it shows that we're in combat, we just fuck off. No sense waiting for it to have to kill us. There is pretty much nothing worthwhile in the little tutorial zone. If you need it, you need it. Go do it. But I'm not including that in the quick start guide. We just don't want to be fat rolling. This might not be all the optimal routes and such, but it's good enough. It's not like you're actually speedrunning the game using this. In order to not break Ronnie's quest later on, we want to go here, plus you can hit up this if you are going to be using a normal upgradable weapon instead of a somber one. You can't level up until you hit this bonfire, or, grace. Everyone touch grass over here. Honestly, I like bonfire. I know they couldn't have kept it, but Sight of Grace is too long. Bonfire is 2 syllables. There's a cutscene, you can watch it. We're just trying to get through stuff.
I can play turning route to aid you. You need own to the foot of summon me.
Thing. Touch the darkness within her. Get the whistle.
Torrent. Treat him with respect.
Now this is where it deviates from being true fast, because you're probably going to want the map. Hell, I want the map. We're going to want this later. on your way back to where we just were, you can grab the flail or the greatsword that's in the back of these carriages. Oh, back of that one, front of this one. Grab an extra Estus. We swing wide here to avoid a bunch of wolves summons. Doesn't really matter that much, but they can cause trouble. A lot of the quests or guides end up missing her. I believe that ends up costing you the seed that she gives you until you upgrade a thing several times. And start a quest that we will kind of finish. Sword isn't necessary for stuff, but some people might need it. Getting specific weapons are often behind swords, especially in Caelid. I'm gonna grab this grace on the way to the pothead. This guy sells skills to put on your weapon. And after buying a skill from him, if you rest at that grace at night, you'll get a big invadey boy who does stuff. Relatively tough fight if you're doing it low level. Now I've had this guy break when I didn't do him earlier than the start of this, so doesn't take that much time.
Just and I'll pop. Don't dally. Give it your all.
Just keep doing our ones. He'll pop out eventually. The bandit can actually... Where's the warrior? The warrior. The one with the axe. Can do that in 2 fully charged R1s, so it's faster technically with them. But again, not really a speed run.
Beyond this,
He says stuff. You don't necessarily need to talk to him past this. This will get him spawning in another area later. Mostly for the lore. I don't know. If it's first early time in the game, talk to people. They have interesting things to say. And talk vaguely about the quests and how you're supposed to do the side quests. There's no journal, so you know. Maybe take one for yourself. Little notepad. Got a merchant over here to the right. And if you want, you can deviate from going right, as we would here. Talk to this guy. You don't want to run through that graveyard. A bunch of guys spawn. Says some stuff. Don't go to the thing. Don't worry, we won't. And don't keep talking to them too soon. And then trying to use the whistle, because it won't let you. Whenever you see these, just run over them and spam the pickup button. It's usually worth. Touch grass. We swing right here. Oh, but the last one you can just drop down without jumping. Gets us to the first of these like graveyard zones. There's usually tons of runes in the back. Most one is usually a 5 in any of the zones that these exist. This is very much on the way. One of these little updraft guys, which if you jump down into, they cancel fall damage. You can pick up a skill there. I think it's Sacred Blade. Useful if you are going Faith. You could immediately head into the forest here. We're going to swing up and hit the start of a side quest and get that grace in the distance that you would have seen for a second there.
Someone who might be interested in rescuing the great Kenny. Well, that's all. Despite of might have I'm tarnished. I want you to tonight come.
You only gotta talk to him twice till he mentions a reward. Good enough. Again, you can exhaust his dialogue. There's another thing he'll say. Not terribly important. Now we're aiming for the thing in the middle of this little pond. There's going to be a big ass bear. Behind him, oh, two big ass bears. You want this middle one. Also some gold flies which you can use to get pickled golden foot things for extra souls later. Those are arrows or something. Should have heard a wolf. That starts a side quest that you can do stuff later. Talk to the merchant at the church. Ask about howling and mist something, mistwood. Sometimes you can make that. Now up in there is a seal if you want to do quick lift. We're actually going to have the points of grace for both of them. Alright, go back to the church. Hopefully Ronnie isn't broken. She's not.
May I have a word? I am the witch. I'd heard tanned upon look the talk of the art was called
It's
for.
Renna right now.
I was entrusted by torrents. Is the summon there the spirit now it is thy? I doubt for how
More
long will
things
it
she'll
before the time?
say. And we're going down to the coast to get a special tool that will help us later. Should be... oh. How early? Or am I a little late? Yeah, we're a little late. Might as well grab this for a side quest later. Gonna want to run out, bunch of undead start spawning up. Want a decent angle on this jump. You pretty much have plenty of time and you can't take falling damage during this. That little corpse over in that direction is another smithing stone. Hear the cries of the damned. There's a goal for the Howling side quest. Get some stuff up and left and right. Mostly left. Yeah, sometimes that doesn't fire early. I don't know why. Those are stones. This is a sword thing. And touch the grace. Get the letter.
Not opened you. My name is a servant's day. But I swear my good father decided himself. By his servants, they've since come. I fear it's please. Would you mind when my soul wish, please? Then please.
Why? This guy is important. I want that for later. You have iframes while summoning your horse, which is always interesting. That's a skill. It's like power shot or something. Now it's nighttime, so we would have to deal with that guy, but we're just not going to. We're gonna pass time here. So those are night cavalry. They're only here at night. Now there's a giant stone sentinel. Don't actually know the enemy name. Dude with a huge bow. Try not to get hit. He does some predictive firing, but he's not great at it 100% of the time. And we get that to hit that rock. And then get more cover for the approach. If you hear the impact right before you go over that, you're pretty much safe to just charge straight past him. If you don't, you go to the right over there. But we pretty much just want this for later. When you come back and you're all powerful and stuff, you can come fight the boss here. He's a decent fight. We're setting aggro there. And then we're just going to be going back to, I think we want right here is the best one. And now we start phase 2. Getting trapped, but not really. This is just pretty much the closest grace to this guy. I'll run in. When you yaw your horse, your head goes lower. And this we actually do want to quit out so the rats don't kill you. Now you want to book it, and, you know, enter the vape as you get hit by the rat constantly. Now, you can keep running around and constantly dying, collecting several stones and such in the place where we're going to be. There is a Somber Stone 4, many Smithing Stone 5s, 3s, a Talisman that increases your incantation strength. There's a lot of decent stuff here. If you want any of it, I would do it now while you spawn here, because you'll keep spawning there, and that saves you a long run in from the grace we're going to be hitting. Might as well top off. They might aggro, they might not. You'd run up there and jump up, but right now we're trying to avoid him. Yeah, just roll constantly, you'll dodge most of it. As I not roll constantly and get hit. It doesn't matter. Grace right here. Now, there's not a lot that's probably going to kill us as long as we're decent. So we probably don't need to full heal immediately. There's a poison skill on that scarab beetle. Just gotta hit it where it's going. The horse helps. Now we're gonna grab a cheeky grace right here. Now, this is going to be something that is in fact quite useful, regardless of what you're doing, most of the time. You're going to want this early Stomper Stone 5. You can buy up to 4. If you want to spend a bit of time in that mine, you can get a 4 and save yourself, I think 6,000 souls? But you can't buy this one. So we get in, get out. Sometimes these things are doing a windmill attack. Just try to jump over it most of the time. Not a big deal since you hit that grace there. If you're a mage, go into that area. There's the staff in a tower kind of over there, on a body with some flowers in it, and then there's a stairs down where you can get one of the best spells in the game. Now, if we go around this area and not engage this guy, you'll end up getting unmounted and with an invader. But if you go this way, there's no invader. Just kind of skirt around its spawn zone, and you're good. I think there's... one of these is something nice. Yeah, smithing 4. Kinda want to stick to this road? Yeah, because if you go to the left, there's a bunch of 4-armed guys who shoot at you. You don't want to go in the front here, because there's a knight who at this soul level will probably kill you. But you can just hit this. Grab, what is it? How to Cook Your Dragon. Now it's relatively important. Oh, don't actually go there. Return to the road. That's a very healthy boss. Just pick up graces as you go. There's a graveyard up there that you can hit. Like right on that cliff face. Gotta be fast about it. Some, I don't remember the enemy type. I think it's just like scarlet zombies or something. They're pretty slow, but if they get you at this soul level, you're probably dead. You can avoid angering the zombie doggos by going over here. I don't think they teleport in this game. They did in all of the other ones. I think they finally removed it. Specifically avoiding the road because there's a bunch of shrimp people there and they suck. Again, I think it's some kind of poison skill there. Again, skirting the shrimp people. Aggroed something. I don't know what it is. I don't see it either. Okay, we got a giant ass crow there. You can kind of avoid that one, but there's gonna be one that's gonna see you, so you kind of gotta pick your poison. You get less time with this one that we're gonna be aggroing over here. Be cheeky about when he sees you. But he's gonna see you. If you swing right, there's another crow on the ruins who will see you. I think this one's leash range is a little bit shorter. That's the only rune you actually need to grab. I don't think any of these ones are... 2. Yeah, it's whatever. They usually scream before they attack, so you have a decent amount of warning. is extremely close. Swing left to avoid the dogs. There's a little jump section right here. Another grace that you want to hit. Now, it's relatively important to not hit any graces, since that is going to start a story event. Since the game thinks, since you're this far out, oh, you must have done a bunch of stuff. You in fact have not. And we're also going to use that event to break A, any aggro, and B, you're locked from teleporting because of the trap. Now you can teleport immediately after the tunnel exit, if you're crouching, most of the time. But this avoids having to care about that. This is our souls right there. He doesn't do much. But there's a bunch of dragons sleeping under his wings. They don't aggro if you don't touch them. At least as far as I know. He'll scream, he'll debuff you. The other story item for the lift is in here if you want to get it. If you want to do super early lift, I haven't tested the story beats that breaks yet. I've only tested the guys that it breaks when you do exactly what I'm doing here. Now, you would normally, equip Ye Old Mace, and you smack his tail like right here, and you just keep doing it, and the bleed procs will kill him. You kind of want to know what weapon you're going to use before you do that, since you don't want to be walking around with like 99,000 souls. I think you'll get to the bleed proc where he's got a sliver of health, and that's when you go ahead and crack the chicken foot we got. But for now, we're going to do a few other things. She says, you're worthy. Accept it. And this is going to net us a seed, because we talked to the other woman earlier. And certain starting classes you have to two-hand the Morning Star, but you can always use the Morning Star as your bleed weapon without any levels, where the flail you have to have a certain amount of dex, and it requires either cracking the souls that you got, or other things. Try to kind of exhaust people. Talk to this guy.
The honor of, by the way, she's my servant. Take your eyes if you find her.
Something about that. Don't jump off that balcony. There's a dude there. We got edgelord. Get your, what is it, or whatever it is. Hold on. Why didn't it happen? There we go. And you get your blacksmith in here. He can apply all of the skills and level up your weapons far more than you can at a normal anvil. And now we are able to teleport again, because the event took us out. Now you can use this event if you do early Volcano Manor to get out of the lock that puts you in. It's used in a lot of the speedruns. But, this isn't about speedrunning the game. It's about getting as much as you can early. And there's one other relatively important thing you're going to want most of the time. If you're going to not be using a weapon that doesn't require somber smithing stones to upgrade, you can ignore this section. All your stuff's in the previous bit. This is, you can still get the lake shortcut, skipping Godfrey completely. Just take this back way. Godfrig. Godfrey is way later on. Don't jump off the cliff. These guys take a while to aggro, so you can get in several free dashes before they care. Now you can skip the entire castle using a back door there. I wouldn't recommend it because you break some quests, and honestly you might as well go through the castle. There's a lot of good items in there. If you're a sorcerer, you want to go in here and get this. It's pretty safe to do on horseback. Otherwise you can just go straight to this path here and not care. There's also a sorcerer back in the church, which I totally forgot to do, where you can get a sacred seal? Sacred tear. It was the church right before I veered into that graveyard. Guess for demonstration's sake, we might as well go do it real quick. And this guy can do some sorcery stuff, has a quest that you can pick up. Usually worth doing. It's definitely worth doing if you're a sorcerer. There's kind of no point. Well, get rid of the... There we go. Yeah, this map's annoying to get. You want to aggro them. Do a little loop-the-loop. Alright, you can roll back in. These guys shoot crap at you. It moves slow, so you don't have to worry too much. Touch the grace. Grab a cookbook. Now, I think that's the teleport you take for the speed runs. That takes you all the way into the manor. And we want to hit up this woman before we teleport anywhere.
I was a quite
Off in there.
bother me if you to bless a thug, Shalees.
Don't think that breaks until you kill... It's a lot of killing Godfrig. I think killing Godfrig, getting your first rune, is what breaks a lot of stuff. Oh. We want to avoid the two open... I was trying to avoid that guy. Usually they spit crap at you. We want to go right, vaguely there. D is around here somewhere. I don't really remember. You can talk to him. He's sad if you do. He's sad if you don't. Those aren't gonna hit me. Okay. I'm only hitting the beam of light to avoiding to have to remove it from my map later. You can not do that. This skips having to run past the castle and a bunch of laser beam flowers and takes you right to a map, which is always nice. And we're going to want to skirt the land over here to avoid the rock octopuses. Try to avoid those dragonflies, they're evil. They're definitely kind of the wasps of this world. Attack you for no reason. Not that anything else has a reason to attack you in this game most of the time. You know, let's pick up that Somber 4 if you don't want to take the one in the mine. Now, this is the entrance to the Volcano Manor stuff. You don't necessarily need to do that, but I thought I would show it off, as well as grabbing the Grace should you want to do it later. And if you want to get up to the plateau via the lift, and you don't want to have to do one very annoying drop-down tombstone thing, I believe over here there's an updraft, if I can remember it. Right, big old thunderstorm region. That one sucks. A lot of the other ones are on land, they're not a big deal. The ones on water are a big deal. Lightning has splash damage in this game when it's in water. Makes it more powerful. Oh, if I can fucking remember where this thing is. Or I won't be able to. It was by the... crap. I should have checked this beforehand. Thought it was along the cliff face. It should be by the... It was deep in here. I know it brought you up onto this region. If you check this whole area, it's somewhere in there. But that is, you know, your early start. If you want to get the sort of Night and Flame, you can do this, as well as getting access to a very nice merchant Now you can go in the ruins and just dodge roll frantically. There are a bunch of invisible sorcerers who will de-stealth and shoot at you. Or you can take ye old... It's not really speedrun strats, but it's literally just jump around the invisible wall. Invisible wall's right there. And there you go. You'll now have access to all the somber smithing stones you can buy. You know, up to 4. You already have a 4, so you can get these. And you're good. And that gets you a nice start. And then once you know what weapon you want, and you kind of have an idea of the stats, you come over here, back to this fort, run over to the tail, and just hit it with a Morning Star. The bleed procs will hit for around 13,000, you know, until they patch this. If they decide to patch this, not 100% sure if they care that much about this little bit. Yeah, this will give you 75,000 after the bleed proc takes them down to like a literal sliver of health. You want to go in your inventory and eat your gold pickled foul foot, and then finish killing them. I think the buff lasts a minute or so. So you should have time even if you don't feel confident with the little sliver part. And you want to do it before the first bleed proc that will kill them. Usually I think it's after 5 or 6. You know, you can kind of eyeball it. But that's a relatively decent how to get a bunch of graces, fill out your early game map, get access to a couple nice vendors, and eventually you can, you know, explore the area. You have plenty of points to go to little points of interest, and have fun. It's a pretty good game. This just gives you a good foundation to start. Good luck, have fun, everyone.